Right, morning everyone. So there was your starter. So the answers to A were 2, 3, 4, 12 and 10. The answers to B, 8 minus 18, minus 32, minus 240, minus 810, and minus 88. And the answers to C, A is 2, B is 5, C is 10. 9, 40, 20, 100, 195. Anybody willing to fib and say they had that as well? Okay, you're going to be like that, eh? Right, you. Right, here's the lesson. So I'm going to go into slideshow, so all my screen will disappear. So if for some reason you can't see it, because I haven't pressed present now. There we go. So I just give the answers to the starter and none of you were looking. That's shameful. Okay, I'm going to start the slideshow and then we'll go straight into it, right? So if you can't see it for some reason, someone will have to tell me. All right, George, I nominate you. Let's go. Right, now, you've all met quadratics before. When we have two brackets, like x plus 2 in one bracket and x plus 4 in another bracket, and I've asked you to expand those brackets, we do the smiley faces, so the left eyebrow, right eyebrow, nose and chin, and we simplify it, and we end up with something that looks like this. Something x squared plus something x plus a number, and then we put it equal to 0. And that here is called a quadratic expression. And if it's got an equal sign, it turns into a quadratic equation, okay? And my class definitely, I've taught before on how to solve quadratic equations by factorizing and putting them back into those brackets and going from there. And you'll get that question on your non-calculator paper. However, you'll also get a quadratic equation question on the calculator paper where it doesn't factorize, okay? You can't put it back into brackets. Right. Now, to use what I'm about to show you, you need to know what I mean by the letters A, B, and C. So the letter A represents the number that's in front of the x squared term. We call that the coefficient of x squared. Okay, you will have heard me use that word before. So the coefficient of x squared for the first one here, as you can see, is 3. Right, someone has just said something, I think, so I'm going to come out to this a sec in case you can't see it. Can someone confirm that you could just see and hear what I was doing then, please, before I go on? Pretty please. Brilliant. Thank you. Hiya, Paul. Brilliant. Hi, Amelia. Thank you. Thank you. Right, I'll go back to it now then. Right. So A represents the coefficient of x squared, which in this case is 3. B represents the coefficient of x, which in this case is 4. And C represents what we call the constant, just the number on its own, nothing to do with x's, and in this case is 1. You also have to be careful of the signs. So here on this next quadratic equation, there's no number in front of x squared, but don't forget, we know that that means 1. So here A would be 1. Here B is minus 3. Okay, we have to include this minus for the coefficient of x, which we call the letter B, and C is 2. And on the last one, A is 5 here, B would be plus 1 here. Okay, don't forget if there's no number, it's just because it's a 1, and C would be minus 8. Now this question, which is usually worth about 3 marks, is actually quite easy because as long as you can figure out what A, B, and C are, all you have to do is substitute them into a rather juicy formula. This is the last one. A is 7, B is minus 6, C is minus 2. And the juicy formula is this, okay? So to get your answer, you will have to type in your calculator minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now, as a complete nerd, I know this off by heart, okay? But the good news for you lot is you won't have to, because it's always on the front of the exam paper, always. But even by the end of today's session, you probably will have that committed to memory anyway, okay? So you're obviously going to get two answers, because if you remember when we put it into brackets, we have two brackets, which gives us two answers. And the reason we'll have two answers is this bit here. You're going to work all of this out. You're going to do minus b plus all of this and divide by 2a. And then you're going to do minus b minus all of this and divide it by 2a. And as long as you know a, b, and c, it's simple. It's just pressing bits of plastic on a calculator. But of course, the most obvious place to make an error and therefore lose marks would be with your minuses. So we've got to be uber careful with that, right? There is another way to solve a quadratic called completing the square. And that's an A-level topic, but you will do it in year 11 when you do the additional maths course, right? Okay, so let's just try one, right? So get a piece of paper, get a pen out, you know, a first one. Let's solve this quadratic equation, correct to 2 decimal places. And if it says correct to 2 decimal places, that tells us it's not going to factorize. There's no whole number solutions. I have to use the formula. Okay, sometimes they won't tell you to use the formula. But if it's on the calculator paper and they tell you the answer's a decimal, you know it's the formula. So it's the same steps every time, right? You'll only do this once in your life, it will count, and that's for your GCSE. So learn the routine and get it right. The first thing we do is write down the values for A, B, and C. So I'm sure you would agree, A is 1, the number in front of x squared is 1, B is minus 5, and C is 2. And I can tell you now, as an exam marker, even if you just write that down, you'll get 1 mark, okay? Because you're telling the examiner you knew you had to know these numbers here. So we write them down. The next thing you do, and you get a mark for this as well, which is unbelievable because it's on the front cover, is you write down the formula. Right, so I'll go through this one pretty quickly. Now we're going to write it all out again, but instead of B, I'm going to put minus 5. Instead of A, I'm going to put 1. And instead of C, I'm going to put 2. And instead of this A, I'm going to put 1 again. Don't forget, when they're next to each other, it means you have to times them. So don't try and cut any corners to start, although I'm about to, because you know what I'm like. So just write it all out again, substituting in the numbers. Now, use your first opportunity to make a mistake. I've got minus b, which is minus 5. So that's plus 5. So that's your first opportunity to make a mistake. So be careful with that. Right, so let's have a look. This is what I've got then. Minus 5 is plus 5. Minus 5 squared is 25. Don't forget a minus times a minus is a plus. Right, 4 times A, 4 times 1 is 4, times C is 8. So this bit here is where I get my 8 from. And then all of that is divided by 2 times A, 2 times 1 is 2. Now, when I've done this before, I really encourage you not to go for your calculator yet. Simplify this bit first. You can do it in your head, right? Simplify this bit first in your head and get to that stage. And that is the point where you need now to get your calculator. Just hear the beep, so I'm just going to come out a minute. I'll leave it up on the screen there, or now you can see the answers. I think someone's trying to get in the room. Yeah. Okay, that'll let them in. Right, so this is where we were. So I have my quadratic equation. It has to be equal to 0. I should have said that. We'll look at ones later where they're not. It must be equal to 0. That is absolutely fundamental. That's A, that's B, that's C, that's the formula. Chuck it all in, simplify it in your head as much as you can until you get to this point here. Now you're going to start pressing bits of plastic. And I recommend you do it like this. Use brackets, right? Put that top line in brackets. So do brackets 5 plus root 17 brackets, and then divide by 2. And then do the same again, but instead of the add, you put in the subtract. Brackets 5 minus root 17 brackets divided by 2. You're going to get 2 answers, I've asked it to correct to 2 decimal places. So I would just like you to check to see if you had the same as me. And there is our first go at solving a quadratic equation using the quadratic formula. All right, now I know I went through that pretty quick. So that was just me showing you how we do it. And I would expect that amount of work on the page, right? Don't forget, you get 1 mark for writing ABC, 1 mark for writing out the formula, and then 1 mark for each correct answer. This is the bit I wanted to do in your head before you go for that calculator. Right, so I'm going to move on and I'm going to ask you to try one now, okay? Right. Okay, I'd like you please to have a go at solving that one. So write it down. Something just beat, so I'm going to have to come out a minute. 2x squared plus 3x minus 7 equals 0. Write that down. And whilst I just pop out to see what the beat was, you now write down the values of A, B, and C. Morning, Ashton. You are 14 minutes late. You have lost your break. I hope you're well, mate. Okay. So there it is. Write down your values of A, B, and C. So hopefully you have A is 2, B is 3, and C is minus 7. Don't forget there's a minus there, right? Right, now I'll give you the quadratic formula. So write this down now. Put it somewhere on a separate sheet of paper so you can always refer to it, or put it at the top of your sheet or on a post-it note. Get that written down now because you're going to do 4 or 5 of these for me today. And then, of course, you're going to need it for the quiz. So x equals minus b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. Now, once you've written that out, write it out again. But instead of b, put the number 3. Instead of a, put the number 2. Instead of c, put minus 7. Careful with the multiplying. Don't try and cut too many corners first off. I'll give you 30 seconds to rewrite out that quadratic formula with the values of a equals 2, b equals 3, and c equals minus 7. If you're confident and you want to move on, please do so. Okay. So hopefully you've got x equals minus 3 plus or minus the square root of 9, because 3 squared is 9. Now this bit here, the 4ac, 4 2s are 8. 8 times minus 7 is minus 56. So you've got minus 56, which is in fact plus 56. And then on the bottom, 2 2s are 4. So with a bit of luck, you should have that. Okay? That's the bit where you're going to make an error, probably. The minus turn into a plus. 9 plus 56 is 65. So before you pick up your calculator, I would like to see that written down. Now you're going to have to start pressing buttons. Okay? So use the brackets. You're going to do brackets minus 3 plus root 65, close brackets, divide by 4. And then brackets minus 3 minus root 65, close brackets, divide by 4. So I'll give you 60 seconds to type those in. And give me both solutions correct to 2D, please. And I'm going to invite you all, please, to type in your 2 answers in the chat. So I know that A, someone's there, and B, we're having some success. Because I don't want to continue until I know someone is getting the right answer. So I'm going to take this slide off in a minute. Try and not show you the answers, and I'd like someone to type it in, please. Right. Thank you for those who've typed that right now. You two have both written the same answer, so odds are you're going to be right. Thank you, Alicia and Paul. Anybody got anything different? Anybody agree with those answers? Oh yeah, Josh, I didn't even know you was here, mate. Well done. All right, so Brill, Bob, that means you agree, I take it. Well done, Elsie, Brill, well done, Kate. Right, looks like we got it right. Brilliant, 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 brilliant. Here we go. Well done. It was 1.27 and minus 2.77. So in a nutshell, that's sort of it. Okay, I'm going to give you another one now, a different value of A, different value of B, different value of C. You do the same thing every time, substitute it into the formula, be really careful where your minus is, and then press bits of plastic to get the two answers, right? So let's look at one more. There we go. There it is, 4x squared minus 6x plus 1 equals 0. So first of all, write down your values of A, B, and C. I'm sure you've already done. Get that written down for 1 mark. There's the formula. Now write out that formula again. Swap in the A's for a 4, the B's for a minus 6, and the C for a 1. Be careful here, because you're going to have minus 6. All right, now I'm just going to leave you to plow on through that for 60 seconds. I think it's time for the first quality dad joke of the lesson. And I had a bad weekend. Someone broke into my shed and stole my limbo stick. I mean, how low can you go? I think I can almost hear laughter from Mackin. Or is it booze? I'm not sure. Right, so you've subbed the numbers in. You should be looking at that. Minus 6 is plus 6. Minus 6 squared is 36. 4 times 4 is 16. Times 1 is 16. It stays as a minus. 36 take away 16 is 20. You should be at the stage now where you have 6 plus or minus root 20 over 8. So brackets, 6 plus root 20 brackets divided by 8. Write it down, 2 decimal places, and then brackets, 6 minus root 20 brackets divided by 8. Okay? Please give me some answers in the chat. Some new people joining in would be great with the answers. And I'll come off this screen in 30 seconds. I'm going to have a look, see what you got, and see what abuse I had for the dad joke. So I thought it was pretty good. I'm still smiling a little bit. Okay, I'm coming off the screen now to see if you've typed your answers in. Right, I've got a few people. Thank you, Leah. I've done better. Oh, come on, it's my first one of the day. I'm just warming up. Well done, Leah, Maul, Cotty, Alicia. Looks like and Bob Joy. We only got one answer there, Bob. You need 2. Oh, there it is. Well done. So 1.31 and 0.19. Well done, Carmen. Looks like you all got the same answer, so it's bound to be right there. You can see it is there, 1.31 and 0.19. Right, I'll tell you what, we'll do one more before we just up the difficulty notch slightly, only slightly, because it can't really go anywhere on this topic. We won't do one more. We're going straight into the slightly more difficult ones. Okay. Right. Don't start these top ones. I'll explain now. These top ones are just exactly what you've done, right? Standard quadratics, all equal to 0. write down the values of A, B, and C, and then substitute the numbers into the formula, simplify, press buttons, job done. So we've done 3. I'm confident you can do them now. So I just want to take it up a level and look at these question 3s here. It says rearrange these equations to the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0 and then solve them. Now I have to be honest, it's unlikely you would get ones as difficult as these. 99 times out of 100, they are all, like the top part of the screen here, equal to 0. But if you look down here, they're not. This one's equal to 10, this one's equal to 2, this one's equal to x, this one's equal to x squared, and this one is equal to 8 plus 7x. So it won't work. You're going to have to bring these things that are on the right-hand side over to the left-hand side and then tidy up, okay? So let's do the first one together, and I'm going to do it underneath the camera, if I can get it to work. I'm sure I can. If I do that, right, you should see my camera now. Can someone please confirm to me that you can see? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Right, so that was the first one. And the mistake people will make now on exam day under pressure is they'll say, right, A is 2, B is 9, C is -2, and they'll go ahead and do it. And all of that would be wrong because it isn't equal to 0 at the moment. It's equal to 10. So it's an easy fix, right? All you have to do is bring that 10 over. And of course, it will become a -10. So I'd have 2x squared plus 9x minus 2 minus 10 equals 0. And of course, you just tidy that bit up then. -2 minus 10 is -12. So I've got 2x squared plus 9x minus 12 equals 0. And now I can go on and solve that using the formula. So I'm going to invite you to do the same now, right? I'll just leave it up on the screen there. So write down your values of A, B, and C. Chuck it into the quadratic formula, which I will kindly write down for you there. Simplify as much as you can before you head for your calculator, and then be careful with any minuses, right? So I'll give you 90 seconds. See if you can get me 2 answers for that one, please, before we look at another one. Very impressed. There's 54 of you attending. Thank you ever so much. If you haven't put here or present in the chat, can you please do that, please? Because I'm going to use it as a register so I can award points on class charts. Thank you, Josh. Hiya, Megs. Thank you, Megs. Hi, Mia. Hi, Loza. Hi, Saren. Hi, Jess. Coxie. Morning, Robin. Morning out. Right, so A is 2, B is 9, C is -12. If we're going to make a mistake on this one, it'll be that C is -12 bit. So let's substitute in the numbers into the formula. So x equals -9 plus or minus. Right, 9 squared is 81. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times -12 is -96. So I've got minus 96, which is plus 96. And all of that is over 2 2's, which is 4. I'm not going to head for my calculator yet. I'm just going to tidy that bit up there. So I've got x equals -9 plus or minus, what's that, 177 all over 4. Hiya, Hannah. Hiya, Toby. Thank you for joining in. So I'm going to do -9 plus root 177 over 4, get that answer, and then -9 minus root 177 over 4 and get that answer. Anybody brave enough to type their answers in before we work them out? Come on, go for it. Come on, someone. Right, don't forget, when we say -9, we use it. Thank you, Paul. I haven't got a clue if it's right. I haven't done it myself yet. But knowing you, it probably is. Don't forget, you don't use your minus button, you use your negative button, right? So it's right, brackets, -9 plus root 177 brackets divided by 4 equals 1.08 for that one, which is the same as Paul, Alicia, Kerry, and Maul. So I reckon I've got it right if they have. And then brackets, -9 minus root 177, close the brackets, divided by 4. Equals that, minus 5.58. If you add that, that is awesome. Okay, that is very, very good. Any questions? I thoroughly doubt it. Because it's the new year, I've decided to go vegetarian, and people who sell meat are just gross. But people who sell fruits and vegetables, they're grosser. Hey, cheers. Yeah. What do you think of that? You want getting better? Getting better? Okay. Oh, really? Well, I was going to quit teaching and become a stand-up comedian. Right, let's have a look at the next one. So, 4x plus 5x squared minus 10 equals 2. Okay, let's go back to this one. Now, this is the first thing. People go, that's not right. It's got to be equal to 0. So they're going to bring that 2 over, and it'll become a -2. Brilliant. So they'll go 4x plus 5x squared. That's -10 minus 2, which is -12, equals 0. And that's brilliant. They've done that right. So then they'll go, right, I've sorted here. So A is 4, B is 5, and C is -12. And of course, that is incorrect. You have to write it with the x squared bit first, then the x, then the number on its own. So I'd have to rewrite this now as 5x squared plus 4x minus 12 equals 0. Right? So I hope you can see there the misconception that a lot of pupils will have made doing this under pressure in the exam. Right? It's all about being under pressure and rushing. Just sometimes you've got to take your time. Make sure it's in the right form. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Right, 90 seconds. Do this one. And we'll do maybe one more. Okay, so 90 seconds to get this one done. Get your values of A, B, and C. Write them down. Substitute it into this formula, which I hope by now most of you already have it committed to memory. Whilst you're doing that, I might as well look up my third joke of the day. That's a good one. I'll save it for later. End on a high. Careful with that value of C being -12. Okay, minuses will ruin lives. So be very careful with that. You should have A is 5, B is 4, C is -12. If you get an answer, chuck it in the chat. Doesn't matter if if you're wrong or right, or if you see someone else's. Just want to know what people are getting, okay? So x equals -4 plus or minus the square root of, right, 4 squared is 16. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 times -12 is -240. Minus minus is plus 240. And all of that is over 2 5s, which is 10. Oh, thank you, Alicia, Moll, and Megs. They've all got the same answers. Oh, that's probably right, isn't it? If people are getting the same, bound to be right. So I've got x equals -4 plus or minus square root of 256 all over 10. I think the square root of 256 is 16, isn't it? Check that. Square root of 256 is 16. All right, so I'm not even going to use a calculator for this. So I've got x equals -4 plus or minus 16 over 10. Obviously, you would have used a calculator, I know that, right? But nerd skills kicked in there, and I spotted 256, which I know is a square number. So -4 plus 16 is 12. 12 divided by 10 is 1.2. -4 minus 16 is -20. -20 divided by 10 is -2. So well done for getting those right. Right, let's try one more. We'll try the hardest one on there, and I'm going to give you no support at all for about 10 seconds, and then I won't be able to handle it, and I'll do it all for you, just like we're in class, right? Okay, this last one here, the last one. 3x squared plus 6 plus 2x equals 8 plus 7x. Right, so there's a couple of things you will need to do. You're obviously going to have to bring that 8 over, and it'll become a -8. You're going to have to bring that 7x over, and it'll become a -7x. Then you've got to tidy it all up. Then you've got to make sure it's in the right form. So the x squared, then the x number, then the numbers on its own equal to 0. Write down your values of a, b, and c, chuck it in the formula, job done. I'm going to give you 2 minutes before I do it myself on the camera. 3x squared plus 6 plus 2x is 8 plus 7x. Right, so Mr. Deal has just walked in.
Hello all. Good morning to you. You're all good?
It's time for my third joke of the day, Mr. Deal.
Oh, I'll go now.
No, this is a good one. So on the weekend, I was talking to my neighbour, and he said it's worth spending money on good speakers. And I thought, yeah, that's some sound advice.
Boom.
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Good luck, kids. Want a cup of tea?
Yes, please. That'd be great.
Coffee?
Yes, please. Thank you. Right, so bring that 8 over, bring the 7x over, tidy it up, get it in the right form, write down A, B, and C, chuck it all in the quadratic formula. Can't believe no one commented on that last joke. I mean, I thought that was the best one. Okay, the silence is killing me. Anybody need any support? Anybody want to offer the answers? Okay, so I'm going to bring this 8 over and it will become a minus. I'm going to bring this plus 7x over and it will become a minus. I'm not going to cut any corners yet, so I'm going to have 3x squared plus 6 plus 2x minus 8 minus 7x equals 0. So at least I've got it equal to 0, so I know that bit is right. Okay. I'll keep the x squared bit at the start. So I'll keep it as 3x squared. I now want the x bit next, okay? So I've got plus 2x minus 7x, so that's minus 5x. Thank you very much, sir. And then I've got plus 6 minus 8, which gives me with minus 2. There is your quadratic equation that you can now solve using that formula. A is 3, B is minus 5, C is minus 2. So there's a lot of minuses going on in this one, so be very careful with them. I'll give you another 60 odd seconds. I'm hoping someone will be brave enough to put some answers in the chat, and then we'll be pretty much done. Come on, someone, chuck an answer in. Right, B is minus 5, so minus 5 is plus 5. Plus or minus, right. Minus 5 squared is 25. 4 3s are 12. 12 times minus 2 is minus 24. Minus 24 is plus 24. And all of that is over 2 3s, which are 6. Right, so we got Goffy's put an answer in, and Alicia, and Moll, and Cotton. They're all the same. So you're bound to be right. There's no way 4 of you are going to get randomly different numbers. Although some of you have different minuses. So let's have a look. X equals 5 plus or minus. No, 25 plus 24 is 49. And my nerd skills have just said, hang on, that's a square number. So it's 5 plus or minus 7 over 6. That's right, isn't it? Square root of 49 is 7. 5 plus 7 is 12. 12 divided by 6 equals 2. 5 minus 7 is minus 2. Minus 2 over 6 is minus a third. So minus 1/3, and because you all done it on your calculator, it'll be minus 0.3 recurring with the dot above it, right? Now that's absolutely awesome. So we've done, I think, about 6 of those, right? And if they don't change, do they? Okay. You get your values of A, B, and C, you chuck it in a formula, you take your time, you get 4 marks. Job done. Now, I'm not going to do any more with you. The quiz has just been uploaded at 10:30. So as soon as you get off now, do the quiz straight away. There's 5 of them for you to do. You obviously have to select 2 answers each time for this one, instead of just the normal select the 1 correct answer. There's 2 correct answers for each one. If you do it straight away, you will all have it submitted by 11 o'clock, 10 past 11, and I'll be really chuffed, okay? Are there any questions for me? Anything anybody wants to say? Okie dokie. I haven't decided what topic to do next week yet, so if any of you want to pick one, let me know. It has to be an A or an A-star grade topic. That's all we are doing in these sessions. If there's something you fancy having a go at, let me know, especially the year 11s. If it's something you didn't understand when you were taught it before, let me know and I will pick that topic. Otherwise, thank you all for attending. Go do the quiz now. Look after yourselves, and I will see you next week, same time. Okay? Peace out. See you next week. Bye-bye. 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 Bye, Moll. Bye, Carmen. Sarah and Sue, are we still doing the maths mock when we go back? who knows? We just don't know when we're coming back, so don't worry about it, okay? Don't worry about it. Bye, Iz. Bye, Leah. Bye, Paul. Bye, Leo, mate. Bye, Al. Bye, Ella. Doodles. Bye, 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 bye.